Osto, just give us your take on your first 2 or 3 weeks at CAS. How's it been for you?
Different, yeah, it's been enjoyable. Obviously coming at a time when a lot of the boys and the place was highly stressed. My first 12 hours, I witnessed Andy Last lose his job. That's something that was very hard to witness. Anyone losing their job, obviously my conversations about coming to the club were with Lasty, so it was sort of like, hey mate, thanks for coming, and then see you later, I'm out the back door. So it's this, promotion relegation, it's such a scary thing. So I'm here to help as much as I can, and it's been enjoyable. The boys are pretty stressed, but also cracking on, and they're a great bunch of boys to be around.
Like you say, it's very different. It's a very different challenge, isn't it, for any player to come into a situation like that? Are you relishing it in a strange, perverse sort of way?
Oh, it's when the phone call come to come over, it was something that sort of excited me. I said to my agent at the time that potentially, if I can help him in some way, it could potentially be one of the cooler things I do in my career. So the job's far from done yet. We've got 4 weeks, and this sport is great at twists and turns. So we know what's in front of us, and looking forward to it.
Obviously, it happened very quickly, the move, and took quite a lot of people by surprise. Andy Last said he thought it was a wind-up initially. Was there any fallout at the Leeds end? Can you sort of set the record straight on that front?
No, not that I'm aware of. Obviously, there was a bit of speculation as to why it happened. I received a phone call at 9:30 on a Wednesday night. Gareth Widdop said, "Are you interested in coming and giving us a hand?" And I sort of said, "I'm not sure if Leeds will let me, but the way my situation is, I'm open to coming and helping if you think I can help." And within 12, 15 hours, I was a Tiger. So I wasn't looking to leave. Obviously, I was a bit upset with my situation, but I was fully focused on forging ahead for them for the rest of the year. And here I am. And I guess in life, all you can do is deal the cards you've been dealt. And I think that's a good lesson in all of it for myself.
And what's the situation in 4 games' time? Have you got anything lined up?
No, I haven't. I was probably more stressed about the contract stuff 6 to 8 weeks ago than what I am now. Obviously, there's only 4 weeks to go. So, I've got a couple of things in the pipeline, but nothing set in concrete. And I'm just enjoying each week as it comes. And obviously, being at this place, it's something that's really important, and something I don't look too far ahead, because we're only 7 days away from being back in a real battle again. So, it's been refreshing.
You go to Warrington, don't you, on Saturday? It's tomorrow, isn't it? It's not the first time you've been back there. What sort of reaction do you get from the home fans when you go back?
Normally pretty positive. It's a place I really enjoy going back to. Not for the obvious reasons. I've got a lot of lifelong friends that I made there. I'll never speak negatively about my time at Warrington. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and still got a lot of mates and family friends back there. So I just enjoy the opportunity to go back and see a lot of them. Obviously, going back to the Halliwell Jones and winning is enjoyable, but just seeing friends that I've made along the way.
I'm sure you keep an eye out for their results. Have you been surprised with their sort of down form this year?
They obviously started like a house on fire. And when you start so well, we were also quick to forget the struggles they had the year before. I think they would have liked to have thought they put a lot of them to bed in the first 8 weeks, and as it seemed that they did. That club historically at this time of year, a dark cloud can come over you quite quickly. It was similar when I was there for whatever reason, but they've got world-class players. We're going to have our work cut out for us this week. I think it's safe to say they're certainly favourites leading into this week, and we're going to have to go there and do a job.
You missed out last week. Are you good to go then this week? I'm assuming you are, given the fact you were speaking to you now.
It'd be pretty awkward if I was doing media and not playing. I was pretty close last week. I think bigger picture, with still 4 weeks to go after last week, I think it wasn't quite worth the risk. I probably wasn't 100% against Wakefield. So I just think it was a smarter decision to watch from the stands last week. So hopefully that decision comes to be positive after tomorrow night.
You're yet to make your home debut though for Cass. Are you relishing that next week?
Yeah, I am. It's a stadium that's obviously tough to come and play in as an away player, and I've sat in the stands now and watched too. So Hull FC next week will be be a good chance to play in the jungle, as they say. Yeah.
And just lastly from me, Blake, before I pass you on, what do you get a sense of what a victory this Saturday would mean for the group, given the predicament?
Yeah, it'll go a long way. Obviously, even this week, after even a win this week wouldn't put it to bed. I wouldn't imagine. I haven't done the maths or that thing, but we're looking at a week at a time, and we've got such a big challenge this week. I know Warrington are going to want to. The next 4 weeks for them are just as important as the next 4 for us. They're either going to be forging into the final. They're either going to be limping into the finals or bowing out. So they're going to want to get some form on the board, and we don't want to be the team that plays them back into some form.
You've gone from chasing a playoff place to being in a relegation battle. Has that been a big mindset shift?
Not really. I think it's pretty similar. I walked into a place where there was a lot of stress and anxiety. Obviously, I said promotion and relegation. It can be such an evil thing at times. Obviously, a team's going to get promoted, but just speaking to guys that and people at the club that aren't sure what next year is going to look like. There's an importance to it, and so to get back to your question, same mindset. You just got to win games of footy, and just a bit more at stake here for us at Cass.
Yeah, you've obviously only got potentially a few games there, but you could make yourself a bit of a hero if you do keep Cass up. Have you thought ahead yet to going back to Headingley and what that day might look like, and what could lie in store for you there?
Not too much. We played Cass in a game there the last round last year that was a stinker of a match that nearly ended our season, and so hopefully we can go back to Cass and do one this year against them. But we're not looking too far ahead, and I'm not here to save the team or anything like that. I'm here to play my role. My first week here, I saw a spine that was a bit frustrated and probably a bit a man short. So I thought I could add a bit more of a threat on the other side of the field to free up your Widdups and Millers, and so I'm here to lend a hand. I'm not here to save anyone, and I'm enjoying it at the moment. It's been very fun.
What would your preference be at the end of the year? Would you like to stay over here in Super League?
In the UK? Yeah, for sure. We're pretty settled here, mate. So we'll look at that in the next few weeks for sure.
Has there been any tentative interest in you yet?
There's been some discussions. Still waiting for a call from Leeds. They haven't rang me back for. No. There's been some discussions, but I think the stress with the contract stuff, that's all been alleviated. Even you walk into this place and you realise some of your own problems aren't as bad as what you probably think they are. There's boys dealing with bigger stuff. So I think the stressful part of it for me is past. I think we're at a point now where what will be, and I'm excited about each day as it comes.
Yeah, so you're willing, even if it goes deep into the off season, you're willing to hang around and see what happens.
Oh, I'm not planning on packing up just yet. Yeah, as I said, there's a few things in the pipeline, and hopefully I can nut something out. Not too far away.
Which of your former teammates at Warrington you're kind of close with still? Who are you looking forward to coming up against on Saturday?
Yeah, obviously, Caesar's me. Oh, at Warrington, sorry.
Yeah.
Daryl Clark's my closest mate. One of my best friends I've made in rugby league. So I always enjoy coming up against him. The few of the NRL boys from back home, I played with Vaughnie back in Canberra, so he likes to give me a hard time when we play him. But right across the park, Stefan Ratchford's a great friend, great family friend. It'll be great to get back there and get amongst it.
Yeah, and what's it been like working under Danny Ward? Obviously, he's a relatively new coach at Cass as well.
Yeah, my first day here, I met Danny, and Danny was the only guy that was newer to the club than I was. So, as I said, we've come in at a tough time. We're just all sort of getting stuck in and trying to do our best to make a positive impact on the club. And that's what we're all doing. The boys aren't far away. They never have been all year. As long as it's been for some of them, they're not far away. And we're pretty excited about the next 4 weeks.
Just talking about your situation, if we can just, you know, go back to that, your contract situation. I mean, most people think you left Leeds because you wanted a 2-year contract and they would only offer you a 1-year one. Presumably, wherever you go next year, you'd like a 2-year contract, whoever you play for, presumably. And that's what you're searching for, I imagine.
I think part of the frustration with that whole situation was there was never any contract. There was never any talk of any contract, 1 year, 2 year, 4 years. So, and I think my frustration was no one from the club made any attempt to shut that rumor down. They sort of let it drag on. I told them countless times that 1 year was fine at Leeds. There's more to it as well, but I'm not going to go over sort of old wounds. I'm here at Caston. We've got a big sort of battle on our hands for sure. Yeah.
Presumably, though, you wouldn't go back to Leeds now at this stage. You know, if they did make you an offer, presumably you've burnt your bridges with Leeds now.
I'd burnt my bridges. Ship has sailed. Something along those lines. I'd imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. But you wouldn't see yourself going back to the NRL, presumably now. As you say, you're settled over here, and you know, you've still got your Aussie accent, of course, but you know.
No, I'm very settled. You never say never to anything, but you know, I did say when I come over that I was always planning on finishing my career here. So I'll sort something out, mate. As I said, the stress and that of the situation sort of passed for me now, and obviously a new challenge like this has allowed that to be alleviated and focus on 1 week at a time rather than looking too far into the future.
And in terms of going to Warrington tomorrow, is it an advantage for you, for you know, that you can give a bit of advice to your teammates now about, you know, what it might be, you know, some of the Warrington players, you know, who you did play with, about, you know, maybe a few insights into their strengths and weaknesses and so on?
Oh, yes and no. I think, you know, a lot of the boys in our team have been around for a long time, and we've all played each other quite regularly. I spoke about Darryl Clark. He's a former Tiger, so you know, a lot of the boys now are pretty well aware of what we're going to be faced with and what we're coming up against. So maybe I guess so. Maybe it'll help a little bit, but we're all pretty equipped and ready to go.
And just in terms of the mood in the camp now, I you know, looking in from outside, as we all do, I just got the feeling a few weeks ago that there was a lot of tension among the Castleford players. And the one thing, again, I'm looking from outside, so I might be mistaken, but it does look to me as though Danny Ward has lightened the mood a little bit, you know. And obviously you weren't there under Andy, as you say, you came as he left, but do you feel that the mood is, you know, positive and there's a bit less sort of weight on everybody's shoulders?
I think, you know, the situation that we're all in here, I think it brings nothing but stress. I think when you're uncertain about what can happen next year and, you know, where your money's going to be coming in from and things like that, all that can only bring stress. I think the last 2 weeks since I've arrived, I think obviously a win against Wakey's helped settle everyone's, you know, nerves and anxiety a little bit. But we're all under no illusions, and we know that team at Wakey can do some pretty special things. So it's far from over, and we've got, I think it's 4 games left now to really make sure it's out of reach. We don't want to be getting down to the last couple of games and really having to do some special things. So I think the next two weeks is really important for us, and we're going to be putting everything into that for sure.
Obviously, you arrived at like a similar time to a lot of the other newer lads. Has that helped you settle in a bit more? Obviously, having more new players coming in.
I think, you know, I think the only real positive is the new boys don't really carry as many of the same scars as the older boys. I think, you know, it's been a tough, long season for these boys, and yeah, so I think the fresh faces, you know, they're here without some of them scars, and you know, I think some of the newer boys have been some of our best performances the last few weeks. We miss Liam Horn this week. That's a big loss. But you know, Billy and Charbel have been doing a great job as well. So we're really excited. Yeah.